Hey gamers, welcome to a different kind of video. Lately there's been a lot of discourse surrounding Stellar Blade and Hades 2, notably because Kotaku made an article called something like Hades 2 is the kind of hot we need right now, or whatever the fuck, which is so obvious meant to be clickbait, so I kind of just moved on and didn't care. But it did make me think a little bit just how these two games are being discussed amongst other people, and I kind of feel that there's a lot of re- a lot of it are reducing these games on a very shallow level because both these games are trying to accomplish two different things with their designs, and I don't think labeling one as good horny or bad horny is fair to either of these games or worthwhile because they're not even trying to do the same thing. Stellar Blade is an action game with the developer openly stating that they got a model to be the character, and they paid attention to the backside of the character because that's where the player is going to be looking at for the majority of the game. And they wanted, and the developer also said that they want that he doesn't really care for going for realism or making a normal looking character. So they want to make a character that's a little bit more uh, above normal, whatever, which is understandable. A lot of art is comes from that. You know, even if you look at ancient Greek statues, a lot of that stuff is not normal. A lot of these bodies are perfectly toned. They have all these like bulging muscles, but when you look at them, a lot of these muscles would not look the way that they do on the statue because uh, you just can't be flexing all the time. That's just not natural for a person to do. But the Greeks were very fascinated with the ideal body and why they made all these Greek statues look the way that they do because they were fascinated by that. So there's nothing wrong with making a character design that is above normal or looking attractive or whatever. I think to me the issue comes into play when it comes to the story or trying to make something more relatable, I guess, or whatever, which I don't think is Stellar Blade's aim. I don't think that's the point. I think they just want you to play a character that's a android or whatever, and you're just slashing down enemies, and that's it, and that's fine. You know, that's all it needs to be. Hades, on the other hand, the direction that they're going for with the art is to evoke a lot of the personality and characteristics of the Greek gods through an image and dialogue. So that's the only interaction you have with these characters is just through how they're talking, what they're talking about, and how they look in one image. So naturally, they're gonna evoke a lot of the stuff that's about the god or goddess of Greek mythology. So there's nothing wrong with Aphrodite looking the way that she is. It's a little more thoughtful in that kind of regard. So when you compare these two, it's very. I find it very hard to say that they're similar. When you look at just in how they're made, and that's why some people may relate more or like Aphrodite more than Eve because Aphrodite does show a little bit more thought into the design, while Eve is just more of a practical design or a design that is meant to be something completely different from what Aphrodite is meant to be in Hades. So I don't really find it worthwhile to compare these two in that kind of way, and it's reductive. Uh, so I feel a lot of these articles that are surrounding these two games in that regard are just meant for clicks, and it's very. I don't want to sound like a clown, but it's kind of insulting to both these games to kind of put them in a box like that. There's nothing wrong with liking one or the other. You can like one and dislike the other all you want. I think that's fine. I mean, that's just how it is. Because you can look at something and say, I don't like how that looks, and like something else that is meant to be something different. So there's nothing wrong with liking one or the other. I don't find it hypocritical, unless you don't know what's going on with both these games design wise. I just think that there's stuff in both games that speak to different people, and that goes in with a lot of these designs. I mean, I remember to bring up Mortal Kombat 11 when they showed Scarlet in that game. I saw a lot of people just not liking that design. They liked her original design, but I liked her new design in 11 because I thought it was much more interesting and intricate. I liked the detail it had. It was very cool looking. So I was more into how she looked in Mortal Kombat 11 than how she looked initially. But that's the beauty of art, and that's what I really love about a lot of these games I play. Looking at these character designs, that's honestly why I'm such a cuck for art books. Any collector's edition that comes with an art book, I'm always there to pick it up because I love looking at what made the developer or the artist come up with these characters. It's very interesting to see if they have a concept art. That's even based because I love seeing what a character just starts out with and where they end up. It's always cool seeing that process. So I do think that both these games can coexist, and I think that they're two different games, and I find trying to like pit them against each other, it's just there's no point. They're both very different games, and they both can exist. I mean, it's fine. Uh, so I'm all for both these games. I played the demo of Stellar Blade, and it's a fun game. I don't think it's gonna be amazing, but I think it's fun. I think it's a solid action game, and I ended up buying the final game when that will come out later this week. My only criticism I had of Stellar Blade is I don't like the character design. I see that you can get costumes in the game, so that's a plus. I can't wait to get the other costumes because I don't like the plug suit. I think it's a little tacky. Uh, but I also just don't like the character, which isn't a deal breaker for me because that's not what I was interested in when I first saw the trailers for this game. I was more interested in the gameplay that I saw than how the character looked. If there was a game that I saw that, hey, if the character looks great and the game looks great, hey, that's based. But if I saw a game that's like, I want games that can succeed in something that I can connect with, something that I can like dig into. That's why when I play a game, if the story is good and the gameplay sucks, I may stick with it because hey, the story is pretty sick and I can't wait to see the end. But if the gameplay sucks and the gameplay is good, I'll still stick with it because the gameplay is fun. So I if there's something in that machine that works enough to get me to be engaged with it, I'll stick with it. But if there's nothing there that's working for me, I'm just gonna move on. And Stellar Blade has stuff that I kind of liked in the demo, so I'm more interested in seeing how the game turns out. It's just the character design I'm not like in love with. I don't dislike it, but it's just like whatever. But that's where I stand with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with either of these games. I think that any design's fine. I feel that this pushback on a lot of these character models, ugly or not, I think is just a waste of energy. Like I know that a lot of are gonna probably disagree with me. I don't think Aloy looks that bad as a character. In Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Forbidden West, she looks fine to me. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I like her costume design. I like the outfits you can get for her, and I think she's fine. I like the way her hair looks is kind of cool in the game. So I don't think there's anything wrong with her looking average. I mean, I don't need her to be a supermodel either. And a lot of these like edits I've seen of Aloy just looked ugly to me. It's like I don't need this and that kind of stuff. And I can understand why people don't like the character design. I mean, that's not to say that you have to like how Aloy looks. I get why people don't like how she looks and that she looks kind of too bland or whatever, but it was fine for me. I thought it was fine. I don't need every game to have this like gorgeous character model necessarily. Because if I did look for that, I would probably skip Stellar Blade completely if that was the case. Because I don't think Stellar Blade is that attractive anyway, but I'm still picking up the game. Uh, so I think these things can all coexist just fine. I don't think there's a shortage of good character models either. I feel a lot of this is just kind of culture war, fear mongering kind of stuff that I don't think fully exists because again, you have Guilty Gear that has Elfelt, Eno, Milia, Biken, and they all look fucking hot. So I mean, you know, so I don't find any issue with what's going on, character design. I just think that with Stellar Blade and Hades specifically, these are two games that are doing very different things with the art direction. And that's kind of what I wanted to kind of talk about, because that's far more interesting to kind of delve into than talking about this like outrage that, in my opinion, doesn't even exist for this game. For either of these games, I'm gonna play both. I can't wait for Hades 2, and I'm gonna play Stellar Blade. So I think there's stuff in the art direction that speaks to different people, and that's kind of what you're seeing. I think you're seeing a lot of people who connect more with one or over the other, which happens. I mean, that's why a lot of people skip some games sometimes, and that's also why it goes into a lot in the business sense why a lot of companies or publishers are looking for attractive characters, because they think that's what's gonna sell copies. And I think that is true on a market side of things, but I also think it's wholly true that if you make a compelling game, a compelling art design, a compelling character, that also could sell a game as well. And I think that's what you're seeing with a lot of these other games with more average looking characters. It's more of a compelling idea of the story or gameplay. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, specifically that one. Forbidden West is it's kind of a dud in my opinion, but Horizon Zero Dawn had interesting designs with like primitive time period mixed in with like technology, and that is a very interesting idea that connected with so many people that bought the game, but it just had bad timing. Uh, so I think there's interesting ideas that you can delve into that could be profitable. It's just that that's a very risky venture when usually making an attractive character or an attractive lead can be the safest option in most cases. So I don't so that's kind of why I don't really put a lot of stake in good horny versus bad horny, because I don't think that's fair and I don't think that's productive in the medium. And I know a lot of people like scoff at the notion of video games are art, or that they go overboard saying video games are art and all this kind of stuff. When I think video games are just in this middle ground of it could be art if that's what you're designing. I think it all goes into what is being made in the game and what the intention is. And you see that, and you kind of see that kind of reaction towards FromSoft games. Think about when every time someone says that this game should have an easy mode, they say, "Well, this game is designed not to have that, and it's designed to be challenging, and this and that." So I think there is this analytical part of people's minds that engage with what is designed in the game, just as much as visual design and what's being designed with that. And I think a lot of this stuff is just so that people are picking up intrinsically or or unknowingly. I think that's how people just kind of interact with the medium. And I think that's what's interesting about art more so than movies. Movies are very straightforward. You know what you're getting when you look at them. It's like, oh, okay, you know, this and that. But video games can either be something that makes you really think both story wise or just gameplay wise. And I think that's it all is invoked with that. And I think that's kind of what I'm more or less interested in, seeing video games go a little bit more outside the box with a lot of stuff, and that's kind of where I land with it. So thanks for listening to this little diatribe of nonsense. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I think both games are gonna be great. I've been loving Hades. I went back to it. I did one good run. Now I gotta beat Hades 9 more times, and then I'll be able to say I beat Hades. But it's a great game. I can't wait for Hades 2. It's gonna be sick. And I hope you guys have a good time watching and playing video games yourselves. So hope to see you next time. Bye.